I don't like too much space. It's overwhelming. I don't like to clean, maintain, or I don't like to have to go into a separate room to see what's in there or what I have. I like everything I own being in close proximity, and I like feeling cozy and snuggly. And even when I was young, when I was house shopping, I didn't really know much, but I remember looking at a couple small condos and being very intrigued by them. I ended up getting a little bit bigger condo in a nicer community, and long term that was it worked out good, and it's probably a better investment because people who look to buy a house or usually have kids, usually want a better community. But also, as you get older, and if you buy a house, you want it to be somewhere you feel home. It you have to feel home. You have to feel inspired. Okay, and a van is something that it sounds odd. Of course, you think about the Saturday Night Live skit, living in a van down by the river. But nowadays, especially with Class B van RVs, they're a home on wheels. They have everything a home would have, but they don't have the property on where to park them. Now, I've been finding extreme comfort, stability, and convenience in staying at campgrounds. But campgrounds, a good campground is going to range around $1,000 per month, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. And certainly you have to plan and reserve these campgrounds because any campground in a good area is not going to be available at any time. So, the van life, the good part about it is everything you own is always within your eyesight and your reach. Okay. And there's not a lot of to clean. There's not siding. The roof of a van is like the roof of a car. I mean, it'll last 20, 30. I mean, it's last almost forever. Okay. So there's something exciting about that for me. Okay. Um, Pulling up to a property that inspires you, there's something exciting about that to me, but I'm not inspired at all by a single family house. I don't like sheetrock. I like to feel a little bit more out in nature. I don't like condominiums. I don't like shared walls with leaks coming down from different compartments. I don't like being attached. I definitely like detached. The van life is totally detached, okay, but it may be too detached where psychologically, psychologically, there is something to know that even if you don't go back to it, there's a place carved out for you, your own property. Now, psychologically, that could be a burden because, uh, that's something that you're liable for in some instances. So, in this video, I just want to share with you that as I look at my next chapter in life, and I want to remind you, as you get older, be slow to buy because you're going to get yourself in more trouble if you're quick to buy. You say, Inspirational Nomad, have you missed out on properties that went up in value? Yes, I have. There's been some that have. And once in a while, I say, maybe I should have got that. But I remind myself that my health, my financial stability with keeping an income and managing my expenses, that is my independence. And that's why I still feel inspired. I still have to endure bad days. But I still am happy I made the decision to sell my house. I'm happy I've been living in my car. And I'm happy I repositioned my life in Florida. And if you're not able to reposition your life where you want to be, like me, I'm telling you from my experience, keep maximum flexibility. Downsize to the essential, only the bare essentials, and keep maximum flexibility. Even if you have to wait 2 years, which I did. You have to figure out a way to get the creative juices flowing in your life. Now, I want to say this with van life. We're going to get ready to go into live comments soon. If you haven't already, click the thumbs up. Thank you to all my members. Show up, guys. Show up. If you haven't already, well, I want to say this. The van life, some people think that it's a silver bullet. Last year, a fellow nomad, or a beautiful young girl, she committed suicide. And she did van life, she did a van build. And, but she always struggled with mental illness. She even said it in her channel. Now, she was a beautiful woman, young, famous, everything you'd want, and still committed suicide. So you have to understand, if you're looking to run from your problems, living in a van is not the answer. Okay? It could be a path if done responsibly. I think minimalism and I think flexibility is an asset if you've already developed a foundation, a recurring pattern that you take care of yourself well, and that when you are struggling to find out what you should do for yourself, you get into a support group. I often reference that, guys, the 10 years I spent very much in a church, it worked. It acted as a support group for me, mainly spiritually, but also relationship wise, to get me around people who are doing other things than hanging out and partying and bullshitting. And so I'm practicing again when I preach. If you're unwilling to get in a support system and you're going to figure your life out by yourself, then you better be doing it well and being honest with yourself. You better have a recurring pattern of good behavior. You can't avoid that, guys. You can't just skip to what you want. Okay. Again, 10 years in a church, 20 years in the workforce, 2 years living in my car in an area I didn't want to live. So everything I'm telling you, I've done. Now, all I could tell you, guys, do whatever you want. Okay. And you have a right to change. Look, I've changed all these things. I left the church. I left New Jersey. I've done, there's a time to separate, but you have to make sure that you launch out right. SpaceX, NASA, they don't launch a rocket every day. They plan it for months, and they're quick to cancel the launch if everything is not right. So the van life, while very exciting, if things are not done in order, it can be a launch that's going to explode. Now, a house could be something that you create your own casket. Okay, you work to pay for a house. You're not really inspired by the house. The house is inefficient. You got too many rooms, too much to clean, too much to maintain, too much to heat, too much to cool, and it's suffocating. The van, everything is right there, but you got to park it somewhere, and you got to have the money to maintain it. You can't be looking at gas prices and struggling with that, because there's no free lunch. House costs money, van costs money. The house has an exit strategy where you eventually cash out. Okay. And you always have a place to put your head. The van is you have the maximum flexibility, and you've already cashed out, or you have decided to not be a homeowner for whatever reason. So all I can tell you, get ready to go all live comments. All I can tell you is this. As a 41-year-old man, okay, I'll be 42 this year, I owned a condo in my early 20s for about 15 years. I'm very thankful I did, because in my youth, I think, again, I needed to develop myself. Your brain doesn't fully develop till 25. You don't know who you are till 35. Now, I understand that generations change and technology and everything's different, but I still think you have to spend a season of your life, especially in your early 20s to your 30s, where you got to develop your habits, your relationships, and your career. If you try to avoid that, whether you live in a house or a van, you're lying to yourself. And if you want to lie to yourself, I'm not mad at you, but I can only share with you what I did with myself. This is my testimony, not my story, not a made-up story. And having a home, like every responsibility, taught me a lot. Like every responsibility, I got behind at times, but that pushed me to get them, to develop my career more, to get, do side work. All the things that I did built up knowledge, work experience, and understanding. And then as I got into my 30s and now in my 40s, now I'm able to dial back and then dial into what is the maximum size footprint I want. And I have a lot more options because I went through that period of having a home and then building my career and building my habits. You'll have to figure out your own journey. I can only share with you my journey. But I can tell you that a van or a house does not make you. And neither one of them will solve you. You'll have to work on you. You avoid the work of your life, and you will just either renovate a house or a van. What should you do? You should do whatever you want. What should I do? I should share what I did. Your testimony is your greatest gift. Why did I sell my house? It didn't serve the season of life I was going in. Why didn't I buy a van? Because it could be just as expensive as a house, and I still have to have a place to park it. And so you got to be very cautious of that. With that being said, we're going to go to all live comments. I thank all my members. Truly appreciate you. If you want to support the channel, click the blue join button. Click the thumbs up. It's free. I see I got 40 people watching, 12 thumbs up. It's a recurring pattern. Definitely before I say it, less than 50% of people are willing to click the thumbs up. What does that tell us? One is you have to ask for what you want, but you have to ask for with the right intentions. Two is most people are not looking to help you. They want to just take something from you, your energy, your thoughts, your time, and they're willing to just lurk in the background. And so this is an observation of human nature. It happens every night on this channel, and you'll see it throughout your life. So what should you do about that? One is you should remember, don't depend on other people for your encouragement. Number two is don't depend on other people for your money. Number three, you're going to have a small amount of people that really support you. Less than 50% of people care about you enough to do something free for you. Less than 10% of people, whether they give you money or not, are fully engaged in your life. And that's why I tell you, 9 out of 10 people you meet should not have your cell phone number. And you should not be cynical. There are good people in this world. There's whether they are working or not working, whether they're disabled or not, there's good people. There's bad people, and that's discouraging when we come across them. And we all have our moments where we're good and bad. None of us are perfect. Be thankful for what you have. And I want to tell you, whether you live in a van or a house, the number one cause of stress is relationships. Number two is money. The bigger the house, the more people you're going to put in that house. Because I can tell you from experience, I bought a 1,000-square-foot condo, and I would have girls over or get-togethers, and you'd want people to come over because looking at 1,000 square foot with one person will make you lonely. Now you get a van, it's not as lonely per se. And there's something about moving that it relieves a level of anxiety. Now there's something about not having a place to park that creates anxiety. So there's a balance. But I will say this, and now we'll definitely go to all live comments. So we'll say this. Live in the smallest square footage that you need for you and your lifestyle. Because the more square footage, the more opportunity for people to live with you or people to get a ride with you. And less is more. And if you're like me, you like things by yourself mostly. All right. Thank you everyone who showed some love, clicking that thumbs up. Thank you again to all my members. I'm going all live comments now. If I skip a comment, please do not take it out of disrespect. Please type it again. I understand when I read comments, sometimes I'm a little bit rough. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes people are, jerks, but I love everyone. Don't be upset. I know it's not easy. Tom, what's up, man? Thanks, Sam, for your videos. Thank you for the positive comment. Been speaking to me. Well, thank you, Tom, for writing a positive comment. I appreciate you. Aaron, aka Crazy Ink. What's up, Aaron? Hey, good to see you, Aaron. We appreciate you. You're a superstar. Thank God for you and all that you do. Andre, what's up, man? Shout out to Jersey. Shout out to you, man. Been a lot of people from Jersey been checking out my channel. Shout out to them. Suitcase, aka Conversation Corner. What's up, man? Good to see you. Suitcase, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Suitcase, you have a Ford Transit Connect, the smaller one. I don't think you can stand up in it, but he's a traveling electrician, a union electrician. Yeah, look, that's something, you could be a traveling tradesman, a traveling nurse. And like ESP, she lives in Alaska too. She's got the MV200. They don't make that anymore, I heard. So if you have the small van that you can't stand up, you could still DoorDash, Uber, Instacart if you needed to. But you can't stand up if you got hurt, sick, or injured. It may be a little bit more challenging. And that's like the in-between. It's like an SUV. Life is a road trip says, good evening, Sam. Good evening to you. Charlie, what's up, Charlie? I appreciate your positive attitude, Charlie. Good to see you. Thomas, good evening from Central Florida. Shout out to Central Florida. I want to apologize. Thank you, Thomas. I want to apologize to Sanford, Florida, and my man Brent, if he ever watches. I did a video from Sanford, Florida, and I was just trying to communicate to people, especially who are not from Florida, that Central Florida is not South Florida, and it's not the coastal area. And I want people to know that, because people come and they don't visit Florida, they don't explore Florida. They think everywhere in Florida is living a vida loca, palm trees. No, Central Florida, a lot of Central Florida is agricultural land, farmland, and it's not living a vida loca. There's a lot of, cows, and that's not a bad thing. But I just, and so again, like I can say this. As I looked at some property in Central Florida, it's tough for me to go away from the ocean. But I did come to learn the charm of some aspects of some parts of Central Florida. Thomas, shout out to you. Hope you had a good day too. Valen, what's going on? My beautiful Latina milk. What's going on? Aaron says, can't stay long. Well, I appreciate you coming, Aaron, tonight, because I'm on crisis team. I remember being on call, for mechanical infrastructure, I'll say. And when you're on call, it's like when you're stealth parking, you just wait for that knock, but I was actually a little bit worse. But I would tell you, take on call. I would tell you, take overtime so that you can get experience, you can get a resume, and then you can move up. Because if you avoid being part of a crisis team, an overtime team, the night shift, if you avoid that, you're not going to have more options. You're going to have less. She goes, so Aaron, as you get older in life, you've done the right thing. You've downsized, you raised 2 kids. Now, don't buy anything for a while. And now you have a career, you have a resume, and you have low expenses. So now you're going to have a lot more options. Okay. She goes, but would love your thoughts. She goes, is it insulting or enabling to bring a 22-year-old who lives in his own groceries when you know he is trying but broke? Let me reread this. Is it insulting or enabling to bring a 22-year-old who lives on his own, groceries? Oh, okay, so you're a mom, you bought your 22-year-old groceries. No, that's not enabling. My mom did that for me. Again, guys, at 22, you should start to try to, if you're able, to start to live on your own or start to develop yourself. But you still need help. I mean, your brain doesn't fully develop till 25. Now, if it was, 52, that's, different. But teach their own. No, 22, 22 is not too old. Definitely not. So, and you're a mother. Look, a mother always wants to do that. So there's nothing wrong with that. So I would say that's fine. Sophie. Yeah, caught you live. Good to see you, Sophie. Thank you for all your positive comments. Glad to be here. Well, glad to have you, Sophie. Glad that you're a positive person. I appreciate you. My man, Charlie. I love your intro. You use sometimes in your video, love your creativity. Well, I learned that from the 10 years in my church. I remember my first time speaking, and I left the church, but there's some things I learned. And what I learned, well, the first time I was able to speak, like officially, like give a little sermon, I wanted to, well, in my mind, I wanted to talk for a long time. And my pastor checked me. And she said, Sam, you got to be able to give the message in 15 minutes or less. And, one is, even 15 minutes a long time. And sometimes they didn't even keep to that. So, remember, guys, you got to, practice what you preach. But, these are the little things that you pick up through your experience. Now, if you don't develop yourself, if you don't spend time refining your gifts, your creativity is not going to be structured. And you have to structure your creativity. Everyone has thoughts, but you have to put your thoughts in some type of organization. And then you have to leave room for free-flowing part, which is the live chat. And even when I watched How Do You Do a Live Chat when I first started my channel, there was some girl who was saying the same thing. Look, you want to engage with your audience. That's the number one thing they come for. And I should probably even be back to the live comments already. But if all you do is engage and you don't give a message, then it's just a hotline chat. And that's value because the number one thing people want is someone to talk to. But if you feel like you're trying to not just speak to the live audience, but speak to everyone who will watch the replay, if you're really trying to get a message across, then you got to discipline yourself. And because sometimes I watch live feeds and they go right into the live chat. They don't have any message, and their message, or they were getting into their message, and then they got off track by the live chat, and then you say, oh shit, I wish you would have got back to the message. Never take a call while you're doing a live feed. Never stray from your, you got to be focused. People come to see you, but people come to be engaged with you. So, remember the balance. Back to live comments. Aaron, he didn't ask for help, so I don't want to overstep or insult, but the kid is struggling as he just got through COVID and miss checks. Well, yeah, no, I would say, be there. Now, give him his space too. Now, remember when, all I could tell you is I remember my mom did that for me. Now, I remember sometimes she came and she was planting flowers and stuff in front of my door. And I felt bad because I probably shouldn't have said it. But I said, Mom, don't plant these flowers. I don't want them here. And she got a little bit hurt. So I felt bad about that. But look, like I say, for a mother and for a child that just moved out and that's 22 and that they're trying to do the right thing, no, I think that's a blessing to visit them. Now, again, don't get hurt if your 22-year-old says, Mom, don't come visit me or don't do this, because again, they're just 22. They appreciate it even if they don't acknowledge it. That's what I would say. Melvano, what's up, Melvano? Melvano told us last night, very important thing. He said that he worked with mentally ill people and their mind works double time and their body is idle. If your mind is racing and your body is idle, that's a dangerous combination. Melvano, remember, at the very least, get up and walk. Melvano, get that blood flowing. Melvano says, Aaron, sit down and budget with him right after the groceries are bought. I don't know. I respect Melvano. He's got a lot of wisdom. He's right in theory. In actuality, I would say no. Why? I would say a mother should be a mother and Dave Ramsey should be Dave Ramsey. There's going to be moments to plant a seed about a budget, but one is a 22-year-old is not really going to retain much knowledge, even if it's wisdom. Love is greater than wisdom. And the mother's greatest job is to love. And you say, well, I didn't have a great mother. Some people didn't. Well, some people who didn't have a great mother, they married a great woman. And that's your gift. So I know some guys that didn't have a great mother, but they had a great wife. Now, will that wife be great forever? Well, no one's perfect. Can't put anyone on pedestal, including your mother. But everyone has to get that love. Okay. And, if there's a moment to drop some wisdom, fine. But I would say, that's something that they have to figure out on their own. And definitely if they don't ask, I think the best thing a parent can do to a child that's in their young 20s is drop some gems strategically, but for the most part, let them go through their trials and tribulations and just be there with free toilet paper without abuse. Aaron says, let me just get rid of the robot. Aaron says he budgets well normally. He had COVID and missed 2 weeks of work. Well, he should have got paid for that, right? But again, even when I was working at 22, I was still struggling to manage my money properly, and that's normal. That's normal. Melvano, that sounds like it was out of his control. Melvano, you did the right thing by filling that need. Charlie, wise words, Sam. Thank you, Charlie. Valen, come and live with me in Texas. Well, Valen, I love you and I appreciate that, but I don't think I ever want to live with someone else. I almost know that unless I really had to. And like I know, Valen, it's a difference between the idea of someone living you and the reality. And so all I can tell you is I love you, Valen. In my mind, I do live with certain people sometimes, but in reality, I just want peace. But look, for all those who are, it's good to have hope and an imagination that there could be a romance or there could be some type of, what do they call it? What do they call that? Companionship. And it exists. And I've experienced it. But companionship still equals relationship. You can't get around it. Okay. And, so all I could tell you guys is just, let's just enjoy the metaverse. In this metaverse, I'm everyone's husband that wants to get with me. I'm everyone's friend that wants to be my friend. And for some people, I'm their Putin. They hate me. And I invaded, but they're in my territory. It's true. Aaron, I haven't done it yet. I wanted Sam's thoughts. Do it because I'm afraid to insult him. You may insult him. And that's why I shared my experience, but I don't think that, so you have to prepare your spirit if he takes it offensively, but I still think it's a good gesture and, I give it a shot. It's, even if, as long as you're prepared that it, could go a little negative and as long as you're conscious of when you visit him, because one thing I learned as I get older, try not to ever go to someone's house unannounced. And even your own family, just give them a heads up, because people need to be prepared mentally. Once in a while, a surprise could be good, but you got to be very careful. She goes, he said he was okay, so doing it may be overstepping. No, that's a mother, a mother's love is a blessing. But I'm a mom, yeah, I can get that. And a disaster at this. No, you're doing a great job. Aaron, look, any mother out there, shout out to Stacy, all these people out there that have children. Look, any mother that raised 2 kids and you worked and you did what you could, even if your children are bad, look, you did what you could and you were there. And you say, well, my child wishes now they weren't born. I have a few people tell me that, and sometimes I feel that. Look, guys, we can't go backwards. Well, what can you do? I would say this, look, if you're on the verge of having a child and you yourself feel that, I would caution you not to have a child. When in doubt, don't have a child. But if your child is already here, and you can't go backwards, even if your child is depressed. So you got to make the most of your life. And that's it. That's all we can do. Valen, hey, Aaron. Valen says, hey, Charlie. Valen says, hey, Malvano. Doug, thank you for being a member, brother. Just got off work. You're doing a great job, man. And you went to the gym this morning? I got your message. Bundled up for a walk at nature. I'll tell you, walking saved my life. Getting outdoors more rejuvenated my creativity and my vision. You need to get that fresh air. Now, but I want to tell you, I got fresh air when I lived in a condo. If you're looking to live in a van to get by nature, you're lying to yourself. Because I went for walks outside when I lived in a condo. And if you're unwilling to walk while you live stationary, you're lying to yourself that a van is going to get you outdoors more. You're lying. And I can't be part of that because that's not what I've experienced. But everyone should do whatever they want. Sophie, I needed to hear this tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Sophie. Chito, if I'm saying that right, forgive me. I don't have a choice but to live in a car for a season. Don't really have much help. I work full time. What kind of generator should I get? I would not get a generator. I've lived in a car for 5 years, 2 years in Jersey, 3 years in Florida. In the winters in New Jersey and Florida in the summer, I haven't had any generator. You suffer through some extreme temperature. And if how much do you make? If you work full time, you got to make at least $3,000 a month. If you make $3,000 a month, why can't you afford renting a room or renting a small studio apartment? So I'm not sure. And do you have any kids? Do you have any pets? Twista! Twista's back. Welcome to the Inspired to Support membership. Twista, love you. Shout out to Texas. I see you. Shout out to him. Shout out to his family. Twista overcoming Crohn's disease. Less stress, less stress. And I can tell you this, brother. Very proud of you. One day at a time. We're getting through another day. Okay, we got through another day almost. And I thank you, brother. Love to you, Twister. So Chito, look, best of luck to you, but that's all I could tell you is, based on my experience, I don't know how to say the name, Diag. Would you consider a used van in good mechanical condition? Me personally, no, but some people I've seen have. That has depreciated, or is your policy always to buy new? My personal policy tends to be to buy new. But some people don't have that option. They don't have credit. They don't have enough money. But when you buy used, especially the older you get, you better either be mechanically inclined or budget a certain amount for repairs. So either way, you're going to pay for it. And it all depends how much you plan to drive. If you're planning to be mainly stationary, maybe that doesn't affect you too much if you have somewhere to park. But so for me individually, it'd be more towards leaning buy new. But again, some people don't have good credit. They may not have a job. They may not have enough money. Then they have to do whatever they have to do. Forgive me for saying the name wrong too. Diana, good day. Good day to you. Very detailed window cleaners. What's up, man? Shout out to Detroit. He goes, I've got the long wheelbase Transit Connect. Okay. I love it. Okay. I thought you had a Corvette. Tons of room. I do 3 to 5 trips a year. Okay. So you got a Corvette, a van, and a jet ski? Love to you, brother. Don't be mad at Biden for gas. You got too much shit, man. Big wigs. Ocala National Florida is in Central Florida. That's correct. Nice boondocking if you like isolation. Well, and if you like some level of drug abuse. Because there's also a lot of meth heads over there. At least from my understanding. When you go to a free area, remember it's free for a reason. And so, remember, it's not just people who are diligent that know where to park for free. It's also people who are drug addicts, vandals, and thieves. So remember, in a forest, there's limited security and there's a lot of, there's no amenities and there may not be any Wi-Fi. And so I would not recommend boondocking in a forest, but that's me. Other people do it. So again, everyone's their own. Twista, what's up, Sam? What's up, brother? Thank you again for being a member, brother. I appreciate you, man. Keep pushing forward. My man Hal, what's good, man? Shout out to Brooklyn. Thank you for everything. Michael, I'm not sure I understand the comment, Michael. I don't know those things that you're mentioning. Maybe that's a type of car. I'm not sure. Sorry, Michael. Aaron, thanks for your help, Sam. You're doing a great job, Aaron. Flower emoji to you. My man Adam, what's up, brother? Shout out to, I believe, the lower peninsula of Michigan, right? Lower west portion of Michigan. Good evening, Sam. What's up? Just got home very frustrated. My mom has been sleeping a lot lately because of Alzheimer's. My dad forgets to take care of her. She wasn't wet diaper when I got home. Yeah, I definitely think you need a. I thought you got a caretaker. You definitely need a caretaker to be there during a day when you're not. Even if it's for a couple hours, to change your parents, to check on them, and to give them hygiene and make sure they have a certain amount of nourishment. If you depend on your girlfriend, it's going to be toxic the way the recurring pattern has proven to be. And she's going to throw that in your face, especially when you get an inheritance. So you're either going to get free caretaking by your ungrateful girlfriend. And believe me, she's gonna ask for a lot more when you get that inheritance than a caretaker that you pay and that you can siphon out of whatever. So I would just say again, hire a in-home caretaker at least for 2 hours a day or something. J Rock, what's up, man? Thank you again for everything. I appreciate that. Remember the super chat the other night. Thank you, J Rock. Hey Sam, hope you had a positive day. It was a better day. Yesterday was a disaster. Thank you. Curious, do you like your Starbucks coffee black and or flavored? I'd like Pike Starbucks coffee, no sugar, with steamed soy milk and 2 Trenta ice waters. Shout to you, J-Rock. Announcer, got through another day, one day at a time. Announcer, you're listening? Good job. Aaron, I never, ever go unannounced. Good policy. I promised them when they moved out. Good policy. Aaron says, hey, Valen. Twista, thank you again, brother. Trey say, hello, Sam. Hello to you. Chito, 2,000. You make $2,000 a month. Yeah, $2,000 a month is that's tight. All I can tell you is maybe try to throw some door dashing in there and get another $1,000 a month, bring you up to $3,000. That's definitely doable. If you make $50 a day in DoorDash, and you can do that, that's $1,500 a month. And even if you take out 30% for gas, maintenance, etc., that's still around $1,200 take home. So try to do that. If you're going to live in your car, you have a driver's license. If you have a driver's license, that's another way to make money. $2,000 a month is you're basically making minimum wage. So why are you making minimum wage? Is that your maximum potential? If you showed up every day at a minimum wage job for 3 years, you'd be making closer to $20 an hour than $10 or $15 an hour. If you haven't showed up for 3 years in a row at a minimum wage job, why do you have a recurring pattern of quitting your job? Do you have a mental illness? So now some people do live in a van or car, and some people try to live cheap so they can do less. I'm not mad at them, but what I found is they escalate to poverty, not to prosperity. But that's their choice, and some people prefer that. But there's a lot more questions than answers with that level of income, and we need to know some more patterns. But again, do whatever you want. Twista, what's up? I never updated my YouTube account. It's all good with my new card. I appreciate the love either way. I recently switched from my local credit union to Chase. Okay. I wanted to something national that ready to go at a moment's notice. I think that's wisdom. Prepare and position yourself for future and more options in the future. Good job. Very detailed windows. Laughing. Yeah, I called him out. I love you, brother. Adam, I meant she was wet when I got home. Yeah, I got it. The diaper was wet. Yeah. My dad had not changed her. I get that. Pretty much all day. That's tough. And that's how you get a lot of elderly people suffer from a lot of infections because of lack of hygiene. He forgets to take care of her. You got 2 people with dementia. They can't be trusted. Not because they're evil. It's just because that's the mental state. I told him he's got to do a better job. He can't. They both need caretakers. Where she has got to go into a home. You need professional help. Whether they go in a home or whether you have a caretaker come, a professional caretaker, not your girlfriend. 2 hours a day. That's what I would recommend. Joe, what's up, Joe? Hey, Sam. I must say, for a person that makes 6 figures, you have a strong will not to pull the trigger and buy. It's not been easy. It's been mentally struggling. I don't want a house though, and I don't want to ever position myself where if I get laid off, I want to be able to still cruise into early retirement or semi-retirement or, choose my path. I don't want to go back. So, because remember, guys, I know people making 6 figures. They're broke as fuck. You can make 6 figures and make less than someone who makes $2,000 a month. How? Too much square footage, too many kids, too many cars. Look at very detailed window figure, very detailed window cleaner. He's got a Corvette, a van, and a jet ski. He don't make six figures. At least I don't think he does. He may. So, your money is good. You need to make at least, look, you need to make at least 40, 50 grand. Okay? And then you got to manage your expenses. So it's a two-part thing. Adam, we had one, and I want to say this, and then we'll go next one. You can't always project your futures if you're going to make six figures. Because I've made good money and I've got laid off like this. Okay. Now, so that's why you always got to have a couple hustles, and you always got to have enough in savings, and you can never get prideful that you're always going to make a lot of money. And you make more money by showing up at the same job for several years, doing a good job, getting good reviews, and picking up certifications. If you're not working consistently, if you're not working to get certifications while you work, and if you're not getting good reviews, don't complain that you're not making enough money, because I paid the cost to be the boss. And so you got to remember both those things. Adam, we had one, but they didn't last because my mom has been physically violent lately. I can understand that. Well, then if she cannot handle a professional caretaker, then she has to go in a home, because it's just it's sad. It's not desirable, but it's what's necessary, because you can't handle it. A professional caretaker can't handle it. Your father, who needs a caretaker, can't handle it. And I empathize. I know your mom's probably hurting, but that's the best thing for everyone. It's sad. But I pray for you, brother, because you're a positive person. So they checked out, and right now our finances are a little tight to get another one. Well, I would tell you the same thing I tell the very destitute. Go see a social worker, try to find a great one like Aaron. Not every social worker is great, just like not every doctor is great. You need someone like a social worker connected to social, that if you have low income, if your mom doesn't have a lot of assets, she can get some type of subsidy with regards to assisted living. Now, you're going to say, well, I know someone that has a subsidized apartment. They don't like it. Well, hey, guys, look, beggars can't be choosers. I mean, that's the reality of life. If you got assets, then you got to use them for what you need. If you don't have assets and you need help, then you got to get into some type of subsidy. So that's the only options in life. And that's why that's the motivation to work if you can. Because if you can't, living in a van don't change destitution. Now, so that's my opinion. Will, loving Newport Richey, Florida. Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations, Will. I've never been there. I know it's on the West Coast. I may have drove by there. Shout out to you, Jose. I get more value from you than college or university. Well, I appreciate that, Jose. And remember, double check me. Use the internet, not just for free porn, which I do, not just for entertainment, which I do, but also for researching, which I do and done. And love to you. Dream Weaver. Wall tent with outdoor kitchen, then follow the weather, but that's just me. Well, how long have you been doing it? Because I've been living in a car for 5 years, and you can't avoid inclement weather. And if you haven't been done it for 5 years, that's just you dreaming through a weave, not doing. Okay? You tell me you've been living in a wall tent for 5 years and you've traveled and you've avoided bad weather? I doubt it. Okay, but love to you. Fabon, what if you live in a car with no driver's license? I live in Cali. Well, it's illegal. But what do I say? Look, I know people do a lot of illegal shit through life. All I can tell you is as I got older, I separated from that. Why? Because you're going to get in trouble and I don't want to be around you. But to each their own. I don't make citizens arrests. I avoid the BS. Zach, the GOAT of nomadic living, much respect. Well, I appreciate that. But I believe, like Nas says, the King of New York stuff only lasts about 15 minutes. So I'm not looking to be the GOAT. I'm not looking to be the king of the road. I'm not looking to be a king. I'm looking to mind my business, get the most out of my life, hopefully help some people while I take care of myself. But I'm going to take care of myself because we live in a first world country, and there's help if you want help, and there's work if you want work. And what I found in life is you can't change too many people, but you can work on yourself. You can lead by example, and through your abundance, you maybe be able to plant some seed. So hopefully that helps someone out there. I thank you. Thank you again, everyone who watched. I believe I read all the live comments. I've been on here for 45 minutes. I showed up. Someone didn't show up. They have a dream about using their creative venture, but they don't have the action to prove it. Um, Someone's complaining about gas, but they have too much stuff and not enough discipline to downsize. But we all need empathy, and we all need the grace of God. And when life gets hard, we all curse God, including in the Bible. And everyone has a different idea of God, and everyone has a different idea of a genius. But what I can tell you is this: Kim knew she was marrying someone mentally ill before she had 4 kids. Kanye knew he was marrying a girl that had a recurring pattern of not staying in long-term healthy relationships. You know what you get, so you better be careful for what you go forward with. Whether it's a van, a house, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a child, or a pet, be careful, because there's patterns for a reason. It's information that could help predict the future, but no one knows the future. Now, you shouldn't live a boring life where you never take risks, but you shouldn't live a reckless life where you take too much risk. You should take wisdom balanced with the grace of God, and you should enjoy your life responsibly. Hopefully that helps. Peace.